Good morning, scrappers, scrapettes, planet lovers, recyclers, YouTubers, TikTokers, and anybody else. Scrappy D back with some more e-scrapping videos. T-Scraps, E-Scraps. Find me on YouTube and TikTok. I am buying computers and servers in the Connecticut area. I also specialize in asset destruction, as in computer assets. I demolish them and safely recycle them for you, so you don't have to worry about your data being out there in the big world. My intention this morning when I got up in my quest to bring you new content was to scrap out some of the old cable boxes. I have an Optimum, I have an AT&T, and I have a Sanyo over here. The problem is, as I was preparing to do the video, I realized that I was going to need a set of security bits, screwdriver bits, and I don't have the size I need. So I will have to put that up after I go and retrieve the proper tools. So today I have some HP Pavilions. Looks like they're running Windows 7 with a Pentium chip. So they're older, probably the most reliable and easy thing to scrap. If you're a new scrapper, these are really the way to start, guys. They're fairly easy and easy as computer scrapping can be, huh? Take the battery out. And this one just takes a flathead screwdriver. I don't expect there to be any hard drives in these. I did buy them from a car dealership, and you know, they probably transferred their content, their customer base, to a different computer, and that's what you got hard drives for. So with these cable boxes, the new fiber optic ones, at least here in Connecticut, they're about this big by this big, and they're plastic. So I've got to wonder where all the Optimum boxes are going to wind up. I'm going to make some phone calls to see if they're already got someplace to recycle them. They probably do. Phone calls never hurt. I have a box of some type of modems, or cable boxes, or whatever they actually may be. There's a gentleman who worked in hotels, and he would refurbish the IT, replace the IT equipment, and the hotel would just throw the cable boxes out. And he finally got in touch with me. He said, "I hate to tell you how many I've thrown out." I said, "And I really hate to even know." But it occurred to me, with the move to these digital boxes, maybe these metal cable boxes are going to be worth scrapping. So that is on the queue for me to check tomorrow. I never really had to scrap them before, and I still don't have to scrap them because cable management will buy them whole. But if I find the boards are in good shape and they're worth scrapping, well, then I got to figure out whether I want to do them myself, send the stuff to board sort, or bring them out whole for cable management. But again, that's not a decision I can make until I get the proper tools of destruction. Board sort will buy these. They're little Wi-Fi Goldfinger cards. I think you would probably need approximately 5 million to make a pound. And you see how quickly this comes apart? These are really easy. And Dell's and Hewlett Packard, really, really good for the new scrapper, if you can find them. So Board Sort buys these. They're Wi-Fi cards. These are gold pins. I'm going to leave them because I am selling this to a buyer who's going to expect to find those things. They pay very, very well. They're very, very fair. And if you start taking things off the board, well, they're going to depopulate it down to a low-grade board, especially if there's not a heck of a lot there to begin with. So, you know, oh, I'd like to take them, but I'm not going to. The place that I do take low-grade boards, pins from now are low-grade boards. Power supplies, things that are going to be low-grade no matter what I do with them. So I do take the gold pins from there. You know, I don't take them from backplane boards. Again, when they're paying $5 something a pound for a backplane board, they expect there to be gold fingers on it when it arrives at their facility. So, you know, I don't want to get a reputation as somebody who cheats. That would really not be, number one, I don't do it, and number two, I don't want somebody to think I do it, because I don't. Most places want the bracket off. Not the bracket, the aluminum heatsink. I've got a pretty good sized bin in the hallway with all PC boards. I've been in communication with Board Smart over the past couple weeks about a couple different things. I was looking at the possibility of sending pallets or shipping via Gaylord box, or if there was a more cost-effective way to ship stuff from Connecticut to Cleveland, Ohio. This is going to go dirty. Those are metal. Those are steel, rather, and that's aluminum. So this is irony aluminum, dirty aluminum. It's light irony, it's not heavy irony. This board's done. This board's ready to be sold. Now, this is called an integrated motherboard. I'm actually glad that there was something different here for me to tell you about. This is called an integrated motherboard. It has its own category, and there was no removable CPU here. There's nothing in the way of there's nothing in the way of anything here of any value. There just was a tiny little fan like that, and no removable CPU. So an integrated motherboard basically is a motherboard. You know it came from a computer, you know it's a motherboard, and everything is integrated. It's an okay board, but that really takes the value down. Took the battery off. There are some ICs, you know, there are regular computer things here, and back, what a pile of crap. The only good chips are the ones that were under the CPU. So that is an example of an integrated green motherboard. You don't have to do another thing to it, it's done. Wow. Well, I'm glad, because I don't think I've had any of those to show you. And in case I didn't mention it, this is an HP, I believe it's an Envy. Now, I've taken the front cover off because anytime you have to remove something, well, not anytime, but a lot of times with PCs, when you have to remove things, you have to do it through the slot where the front cover was. Sometimes. You've seen me struggle with some of these. Sometimes you're just not getting it off with it, no matter what you do, so. These actually should lift out. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've gotten to the point where a lot of these computers, I'm just not going to fight with them. If I can get the thing out on the first shot, great. If not, well, I could just go with the rest of my shred. There are no screws here. I would have expected some kind of screw here, or some type of lever to lift this out. And I'm not finding it right away, and therefore I don't care about it. It's only a low-grade board anyway. That's a that's going to sell as a CD-ROM board. If I can get it off, I can get it off. If I don't, I don't. What I might do is just do that. Just break the thing off and see if I can get it off later. I'm not big on throwing money away, but I also just don't have time to waste with cheap fiddly computers. Yeah, there's no way to get that off. Sure there is, but if it's not apparent to me, I'm not going to bother with it. nice low-grade CD-ROM boards. They're held together with a SATA connection. If it was one of those big, thick green ribbon wires, I would go after the pins. Gray ribbon wires, I'd go after the pins. But there's not a heck of a lot of value in this computer. If somebody offers to sell it to you, don't buy it. Not if you're going to scrap it. You're not going to get your money back. Not on this one. And that's another part of why I do these videos, guys. A lot of you know, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy a whole pallet full of computers. Well, that's great. God bless you. Unless you wind up with something like this, or those Dell Optiplexes, you know. You might get some value out of it. But if you don't know what's inside and you don't know what you're doing, feel free to ask me. Or feel free to look through my videos. And again, you know, I'm not picking on any of the timber. That was me being clumsy. I knocked the camera over. Sorry. Where is that happening? Okay. It's the kind of day it's been. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my camera, don't buy this brand new computer, because that was what was in it. An integrated motherboard and a CD DVD ROM drive that just doesn't want to come out of its socket, and a bunch of wire. You know, if you pay $3, $4, $5 for this, you've lost money. So don't do that. That's why I have these videos up, as I was saying before the camera fell over. You know, don't go spend money. Try not to buy e-scrap. Now, an exception to that is something like what I did the other week, and I got away with it because I know what I'm doing. I bought a locker full of electronics, but I knew I had a pretty good idea what was in those units. So I did pretty well. I made money on it. Now, I'm not going to fuss with this. Have a good time, have a good interest for a crappy little board. Not going to bother. Nope. Nope. Okay, that guy's done. Now this is a little bit better computer, I hope. It looks like it's got the same configuration. Now you got a feeling I'm going to find more of the same. It does have Intel chips on it. The other one did not. Yeah, this did not. It's amazing. It's basically the same computer, but, you know, computer education 101. So I took the battery off, which you guys who watch me know I do that first. You know, I didn't even get a power supply out of that computer. That was really stripped down. Huh. Oh well, the price was right. I got it for free. Basically, it was a come up and get them, and come get it, you can have it. I'll be right there. Be there in 10 minutes. It was right near my music school, so that worked out really well. I actually helped him with something else a while back. He remembered me from some other project. Anyway, again, I'm not going to get crazy with these cheap computers because it ain't worth it. This one's been damaged a bit, so it may be uncooperative. In a perfect world, these are all SATA connections. SATA assembly means it's not that big ribbon wire, and there's going to be no gold pins for gold recovery. Most of your newer computers are SATA connections. Take some RAM. Thank you very much. That was nice of you. Another 50 and I'll have a pound. going to fight with this. If it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm going to throw it in with the bin that I have of power supplies with wires. Cable management will buy those. If I get a chance to take the wires off, I will do so. I have a bin of each. No worry about that later. I think it's a better value to take the wires, guys. I really do. It degrades your value of the board by 5 cents. So, you know, again, that's up to you. Now this one I should be able to get out. Keyword should. I'm gonna pop the front cover off. You know, everything is 8 times out of 10, guys. I mean, you can see how much difference is just in computer to computer to computer. They're all different. Okay, this one's gonna, I gotta unscrew 2 screws here. Pain in my butt. A lot of these are made overseas too. It's crazy. Even doing the same computer, you could have 5 of the same computer and 5 different sets of issues. They're just not going to even be the same. It's crazy. It's all mass produced. At least I found that with the less expensive computers. Certainly with HP and certainly with Dell. Not that there's anything wrong with the computer, but you pay for what you get. So, you know. I mean, something like this is it's fine for good basic workstation. Nothing wrong with it. It's certainly not going to power your Fortnite game or your crypto mining. It's going to burn out within minutes. This has got a Torx ore slotted, and so I'll just have to do it this way. I've only got 4 screws to get out, so. That other one on that first unit I did, I don't know, it just didn't want to come out of there. I gotta spend time in it. There wasn't anything to unscrew on there. I mean, I probably will look around on some of the other YouTube channels and see if somebody has a methodology for getting that out. It's a very nice day out here in Connecticut. It's 50 degrees, but boy, there's enough wind to make me quote the Wizard of Oz about not being in Kansas. It is windy out there. Got up this morning, I emptied out what metal I had in the car. It wasn't very much, but I was able to go and pick up these computers. Everything was in the same area. Okay. Damn. Wire out of the 180. Get the wire out of the 180. Let's see if I have to. I have to do this. So this will be a low grade solder board, so I'm not going to bother taking this apart. I know for a fact, and we did a couple of these together the other day, it's only going to be a little board right here. There's a little board right here. Nothing for gold recovery. There's no gold pins, and that can just go in with your shred. There might be a little piece of bread, brass. But I have a bin of these. Cable management will buy them whole, and that one I'll send off. If I thought there was the good gold ends in it, yeah, I'd probably go after it. Board Sort does buy CD round boards, but again, they weigh nothing, so there's just no point to going after it. Made pretty good progress on all those battery backups that have been plaguing me for the past 2 weeks. We actually made, yesterday I took up the metal cases they were in, and I took up the batteries, and we got a $60-something payout, which wasn't bad. I still have probably another 100 pounds of batteries to go out, but I don't like those being around the house, so I took what I could. Yeah, I tend to just wind up making a lot of smaller trips. You know, I mean, stuff's heavy. And, but the scrapyard is right next, like literally throw a rock and hit my music studio. But don't throw rocks at my music studio, that's not nice. It's just right there, so it's, you know, whatever's in the car, that's what goes. I don't like to have the car full of stuff on Sunday. I don't think it's really good for the car to carry around all that extra weight. Okay, there's a fan here. I'm not going to bother with it. It can stay as shred. That's what the yard said they're going to pay for it as shred, so it could just stay there. This looks like a decent heat sink, so we can hope for a decent chip. I don't know. Notice I said hope for, not expect. But this board has Intel chips on it, so I don't know, it might be a little better something under here. This is a compact, small form factor. This is actually a compact and not a, whatever I said it was, Envy. I think, and I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me, but I think Envy might be HP's budget line. I know their printers, the Envy printers, are very inexpensive. That Envy computer was certainly inexpensive. And maybe that's their budget line, I don't know. Compaq was always a good brand. Some of the older Compaqs really have some nice chips in them. So this is going to go light irony, dirty aluminum, because I'm not going to bother cutting all that stuff up. I ain't got time. It's not that I haven't got time, it's just, it's not worth it. Now, those copper things that we went after yesterday, yeah, that was worth it. I think if I'm going to spend time, I'm going to spend it on things that will make me money. You know. Right now, it's really nice. I hope the wind cuts out a little bit so I can go out and clean the yard a little bit. It's been so cold up here the past month. I don't think anybody's been out of the house. Just remember, if you're in the Stratford, Connecticut area, I will pick up your electronics for recycling. Just message me through, contact me on the at thecomputerscrapper.com. Okay, so this is stainless, I think. Stainless sparks a lot, and it's really, really brutal on your blades. This copper goes all the way through here, if you wanted to sit here and pull these fins off, you certainly could. As for me, I'll take the copper I can get. I'll sell that as a copper aluminum heatsink. They're only paying 20 cents a pound for them, so. Again, if I had nothing in the world left to do, I probably would go after those, but for burning out all those blades and all that dust, and no. For me, for somebody who's a full-time scrapper, yeah, they're going to go after it, and I wouldn't blame them. But I don't have any need to do that anymore. I'm handling this with care. I don't think it's an I-core because it hasn't got the bent arm. But you never know when somebody's replaced something either. I found unexpected things. But I expect this to be is probably a Pentium. Intel Pentium. And that's just going to sell as a scrap chip. They sell these as a pinless CPU with metal. If you find an I-core, just be extra careful with it because you might be able to sell it under a test and buy program. If it works, they'll pay you much better for it. But treat it with a little more care. Because once your hands touch it, it puts oil and grease from us, just stuff that we naturally have on us, onto the chip, and it interrupts the contact between this and the gold and everything else, and then the chip can't process because it got stuff on it. So always be careful with those. You know, there is no resale in these chips except to sell them to board sort for scrap or some other processor. It's just not. Trust me. You saw, I don't know if you've been following me, you saw some of those chips we pulled out of the servers. Man, I thought I'd make a killing on those. Nothing. Not a thing. Nobody wants them. So, money in the bank earns interest. Stuff on my shelf makes mess. Actually done pretty well. You've heard me talk about trying to at least get 2 boxes a week out to board sort. And we're getting closer to that. And it's nice because they process, they send out their checks on Thursday if your stuff has gotten to them. Otherwise, you have to wait a week. So, most Saturdays I can expect a check from board sort. And they let you know if they've agreed with your assessment and your load and whatever. Okay, I think that's going to be all of it. A lot of times there's a screw over here or over here. The board should come right out now. Yep. Stow away. I do have to get this off the board, but it's easier for me to get it off once I pull the board up. Okay, so what kind of a board is it? Take a look, and don't say motherboard, computer board. You're right on those, but it's a specific kind. If you were going to sell this to board sort or some other buyer, what would you sell it as? I better watch it, I'll get a copyright strike. Used to love Jeopardy. I remember when it first came out because my cousins would sit in front of that black and white TV with their paper and pencil when Art Linkletter was hosting it. Either Art Linkletter or Merv Griffin. Can't remember which one it was. Probably Merv Griffin, I think. Black and white TV. Okay, possibly. figure out what's hanging up the board. Sound familiar? You're waiting for me to answer that question, aren't you? Sorry guys, I have arthritis and my hands are not the best in the cold weather, but once it gets warm, I'll be popping this stuff out of here light speed. I think I'm lucky I can do what I do. Go. Now you've got to reconnect the bracket because it makes a real mess in shipping. Some buyers will ask you to take that off, by the way. But if these are, you know, it's going to make havoc in your box. All right, so I can't fit a quarter in there. So that is a small socket. It's made of metal, so it's metal. And that's a green motherboard. So small metal socket, green motherboard, just like it is. Don't have to do anything else to it. It's all done. I just got to get these off. This board's ready to sell. I'll show you the back. I don't expect there to be anything on there of any great significance. I mean, this is what you see in most of these. Don't get tempted. Don't go nipping these things off. That's just not nice. I mean, there's really nothing on the back of the board. Hardly anything. Some ICs. Some MLCCs maybe. A few little flat pack, but there's nothing there. Don't be ripping off your buyer. All right. I think 2 of those was enough for the time being. Sorry I couldn't do the cable boxes today. I really wanted to, but I've got to go get the right tool. Honestly, Saturday at Home Depot doesn't sound like my idea of a good time. So, stay wonderful. God bless. Enjoy the sunshine. I hope it's nice wherever you are. God bless. Stay wonderful.